We know this is one of the challenges with Synera users is the time it takes to create these processes. But if we can take care of that bulk of the work of creating a workflow or process, then we allow them to really focus on the fine-tuning and not maybe creating some of the complex logics and other things that go into creating a workflow inside Synera. I think one of the things we saw when working with Vstorm was you really explored the entire solution space that was possible for these problems. And again, if we can shave years off the development cycle times for an automotive OEM or an aerospace customer, that value to them is massive, it's huge. So my name is Andrew Sattarelli. I'm the head of product management and software partnerships here at Synera. So my role is to help understand what customer problems we want to address, what are some of the challenges that our users are facing, and then work with kind of our internal development teams or software partners to bring solutions into our platform. Synera is the leading platform for AI agents and engineering. And when we talk about engineers, we mean mechanical engineers, people designing, developing, analyzing physical products, typically using CAD or CAE tools in their day-to-day work.
Like this bike that stands behind us, right?
I love this bike. It's a great example of what's possible with AI agents in engineering. It's a great demonstrator of also additive manufacturing and 3D printing. So a nice showcase piece we've got here.
Quite remarkable.
As you can imagine, simply designing a bike like this is not an easy task. Designing an automobile or an airplane is not a task you can do quite easily. And so what we need to do is enable engineers to take that idea from their head of what their workflow is and get it as fast as possible into this node-based architecture of Synera. So we have this idea that today with a lot of large language models, you can provide a text prompt and you get an image out, or you provide a text prompt and you get report out or an Excel file out. And one of the things we want to do, because workflows or processes are so fundamental to what we do at Synera, we want to enable engineers to go from a text prompt into a completed workflow inside Synera. We know this is one of the challenges with Synera users is the time it takes to create these processes. So we see this having the biggest accelerator for our users is if we can really allow them to go not from hours or days to creating workflow, but really down to minutes. We see that with our current version of text to workflow, it takes me about maybe 2 minutes to write a text prompt, and I can create a workflow that maybe would take me 20-30 minutes to put together with a lot of manual clicks, things like that. Of course, if we amplify that and you connect together quite a few different little workflows, the savings starts to really add up. And so our idea is, when we go from text prompt to workflow, at the end of the day, a customer may want to tweak one or two of the nodes. They may want to tweak some of the inputs to the process. But if we can take care of that bulk of the work of creating a workflow or process, then we allow them to really focus on the fine-tuning and not maybe creating some of the complex logics and other things that go into creating a workflow inside Synera. So our goal is that we can actually take the onboarding time of a new customer from maybe a couple of weeks until they get to their end production workflow today, down to, hopefully inside of an hour.
What were the crucial factors that led you to choose Vstorm as a partner?
Earlier this year, we realized that we really need to accelerate this process. And so we had done some first initial proofs of concept hackathons with some of our internal teams, but we got to the point where we said, okay, we really want to take this to kind of warp speed. And so we started looking for partners that could help us with that initiative.
What made us stand out?
I think one of the things we saw when working with Vstorm was you really explored the entire solution space that was possible for these problems. I think Vstorm was instrumental for us in this discovery process, right? So I think when you start to bring more and more AI experts into the room, you get more ideas of what's possible, what's not possible, and you can simply try out more of these concepts and really hone in on what is the right one at the time to move forward with. And so I think that was one of the really great things about the starting proof of concepts we did with Vstorm, is we got a clear understanding of a lot of different possible solutions that we could take, the pros and cons of each one, and then we're able to select the right one to move forward with and ultimately drive towards bringing that into production with our customers. Of course, we came with ideas of how we thought we could solve this problem, but what we saw is that the team at Vstorm really took that initiative and came to us after just 2 or 3 weeks with a comprehensive report of what was possible, trying a lot of different methodologies, trying different approaches to give us a firmer understanding of how to take this and move forward. I think a lot of companies have this strategic vision of AI, but how you bring it down to reality is really the challenge sometimes, because oftentimes people want to just jump right to the end result, right to the final answer there, but it takes a lot of hard work to get there. And so what we did was we started breaking it down into incremental developmental steps. So we started with that initial kind of exploratory phase with Vstorm, and then we clarified what we wanted out of a more, what I would call proof of concept approach, where we said, okay, over the next 3 months, we really want to tackle a small segment of the bigger problem that we want to solve, but we want to have more clarity of how we take this from a small proof of concept to getting something into production over the next 12 months.
So it's more of a bottom-up approach.
Yes, bottom-up approach with the high-level vision driving us, but having really tangible results in the near term that help ensure that we're on the right track and delivering value to Synera's users. After about 3 months into the POC, we started to see really the ability to generate complex workflows from a simple text prompt. For us, that was the kind of aha moment that we realized this is really a goal, a vision that we can achieve. It's still a lot of hard work to get there, but when you see that first kind of tangible result from one of these projects, it really makes you kind of take a step back and with a bit of awe as to what's possible. Which
leads me to question, beyond the project itself, how do you see this text workflow AI solution impact your business altogether?
We know that if we can get this to go faster, in conjunction then with our AI agents that we're using in multi-agent systems, we can start to have agents actually create their own workflows. And so we'll see these accelerating effects for our customers. And again, if we can shave years off the development cycle times for an automotive OEM or an aerospace customer, that value to them is massive, it's huge.
I wonder what we will discover in the process beyond time savings, because you mentioned in one of our conversations going down from tens of minutes or even hours to just single minutes, but do you see already some additional impacts?
I mean, I think one challenge for engineers oftentimes is that they're constrained in their solution space by the amount of kind of downstream processes that they can do. So the amount of analyses, the amount of manufacturing studies, costing studies that they can do confines their solution space. And if we can really enable them to create the processes for simulation, for manufacturing, for costing in minutes, and get those results into one single workflow, I think we'll start to see engineers explore much more innovative designs that not only save cost or accelerate development time, but maybe have broader impacts on the overall products that they're designing.
Let's say if you would be speaking to another business leader like yourself, who has great vision for AI, but is still struggling to make it a reality. What would be your suggestion how to go about this?
We go through this ourselves at Synera, but also our customers using our platform go through this. And I think the best thing you can do is, look at all of the problems that you think you could possibly address with AI, and then start to figure out which one is the right one to start with. Right? Because I think it's really appealing to say, okay, we have all of these problems we want to solve, let's tackle all of them at once. And so if you pick one, you can really start to focus on it. You understand if you have the data that's required, because with most AI projects, that's the biggest challenge you have is, do we have the data that can drive this initiative? And then once you understand that, you can start to build proofs of concepts before you then go into production with these things. And I think the timelines for that are, from the starting point, I think they're often slower than you want them to be, but when you get to the end, you start to see it's actually much faster than you could have imagined to get this in the hands of your users or employees at the end of the day. We've really taken that bottom-up approach to heart, and so we have, of course, a grand vision of a lot of different areas we want to use AI, but we've picked this one because we think it has the biggest impact for our users at this point in time. And then as we start to grow this, we see the possibilities expanding even greater with inside our product of where we can start to apply AI, not just directly in the platform we've created for our users, taking advantage of large language models, but also ways that we can accelerate inside our development teams using AI, or ways in the background. I think my favorite way as a product manager is we find ways that it looks like magic at the end of the day, but really in the background there's some really innovative stuff going on that you don't even know it's AI. It's just a great product experience.
Yeah, I'm asking about this because there's a temptation to look for a template for the top-down approach. And I don't know if you believe, as I do, that there's perhaps none, that you have to find your way around by building from bottom up, as you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is no template. What's really important, though, is that you have the top-level buy-in to do these types of initiatives. So here at Synera, from the top level down to every employee, we're really all in on AI and making sure that we're successful here. But you have to start with those ideas from the bottom and build them up to ultimately get that vision that your leaders want.
How about the fear of AI? Because in some cases, people do fear that AI is going to take away the duties or jobs even.
Mechanical engineers, that from a mindset perspective, from a skill set perspective, they're the perfect people to be adopting AI, because I think they're also people that question everything.
Right.
And so I think you need a healthy degree of skepticism to make sure that you develop something that truly works and fundamentally works, but also that you understand how it works. At the end of the day, engineers don't want black boxes. They want to understand how processes work and function, because they may be liable at the end of the day for the outcomes of these systems or these designs. So yeah, it's the perfect group of folks to be adopting AI, from my opinion.
So I imagine creating buy-in wasn't that difficult at all with engineers that you have on board, right?
I would say not, no. I think most folks, as they start to use and adopt it, they find really the value coming from these types of systems.
Andrew, thank you for the partnership. We really appreciate it. And seeing what can be accomplished with AI, we're really looking forward to see the results when they come in form of the software upgrades.
Bart, it's been a thrill working with Vstorm for the past better part of a year, and I also can't wait to see when we get to release some of the cool new capabilities that we've been working on with Vstorm commercially inside Synera.